Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we back into? We are Married at First Sight series 8 and we are now on episode 13. Whew. Anyway, before we get into it, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so when you know I am on and do videos. And let's talk a little bit more about this episode, shall we? So from the last episode we already know that there's two new couples in this house named Bianca and JJ and Erica and Jordan. So shall we see how they have been getting on? Yeah, I think we shall. Definitely shall. Anyway, so they're all going on their honeymoons, and to be fair, Erica and Jordan are getting on pretty well on their honeymoons. So there isn't really much for me to talk about in regards to the beginning stages of their honeymoon. I don't know if my views of Erica is changing yet, but we shall see. We shall see how it goes. Okay, we shall see how it goes, because they always start off good in the beginning, but then we'll see if the cracks begin to form. We will see. So we see Bianca and JJ on their honeymoon, and things are as awkward as hell between them, like proper awkward. And I'm thinking to myself, is this going to be the beginning of a Roz and Thomas second type relationship? I don't know if they're going to get past this little bump. Well, more than a little bump, but I would say the situation is coming from JJ. It's JJ that's making it awkward, because he's literally not telling this girl his true feelings at the end of the day. He's literally letting his ideal of a woman that he wanted wrapped up in this package with all the rest of it get in his way, and not see the attributes that Bianca may bring to a relationship, which is, I think, is a shitty position for Bianca to find herself in at the end of the day, because she's literally going to be banging against the fucking empty room door, trying to get something more with a person that she actually likes, because she does like JJ, and she feels that she wants to try and move things on with him. So she's basically gushing. She's literally gushing, because they're sitting there and they're having their breakfast and everything, and still at this point I think, Bianca, you're being a little bit oblivious. You're not actually reading the room, because this man is not giving you the signs that he actually wants to hear all of this from you, because he's not even able to give any of it back to you, which is concerning in itself. I'm just like, he needs to be open and honest. He really does need to be open and honest with her, because he can see that she's feeling more than what he's feeling, and he does highlight the bit where he doesn't want to lead her on, but in actuality, with you being silent, JJ, you are leading Bianca on. So then we move back to our couples, and the first people that we see is Shona and Brad. And basically Shona is saying, after the confessions of the chair, aka the commitment ceremony, she's basically saying it was enlightening for her, and basically saying that she'd been a bit submissive to Brad. And I'm like, no, dear. There's differences between a submissive and a dominant relationship. There is complete differences. There is respect for one, absolute respect for one, between a dominant and their submissive. There is also an agreement between a dominant and a submissive. So no, you haven't been submissive towards Brad. What you've been, my love, is pigeonholed and controlled with Brad. That's what you've been, Shona. That is what you've been. And it's sometimes, for some women, it's very hard to see that type of pattern of behavior, because it's insidious. Basically, it's insidious within that person and within that relationship, to basically gaslight them and make them think that they're the one that's doing the wrong. They're the one that's not doing enough in that sense. And that's what Brad is doing to Shona. So he's basically putting himself as Paul would say, the teacher, and Shona's his student. Marriage relationship don't work that way. Doesn't work that way at the end of the day. So when Brad and Shona are talking, Brad is basically saying that Shona is quite early on in her journey than what he is at the end of the day. So again, he's putting himself above Shona, and Shona is the person at the bottom who he needs to talk down to, because he's basically saying that Shona doesn't get it, that Shona's a bit wet behind the ears, that Shona's basically a child. That's how it's reading to me. That is how it's reading to me. And I think with Shona at times, she's got to read between the lines when Brad's speaking. You definitely have to read between the lines to catch the shit that he says, because he says it so slickly and puts it out so quickly that you don't catch it. And for example, I will tell you, when he turns around and basically tells Shona that she should just do her own thing, so if anything happens, then it will be Shona's accountability of it and responsible of it. So basically, what Brad is there saying, that if you fuck up, yeah, it's on you, not on me. Because if you were with me and I was showing you the correct way to go, then you wouldn't have fucked up in the way that you fucked up. That's exactly what Brad was saying with that comment. That's what he was telling Shona with that comment. That at the end of the day, Shona, okay, because they're saying X, Y, and Z, you do your thing and I'll do my thing. So that's what he's saying. If you were with me, I wouldn't have allowed it to happen. That is what Brad is saying in a different type of way, but he's slick with it. Brad is slick with it, and you have to be quick to pick it up when he says it. But Brad is very slick with his terminology, and this is what Mal was saying to Shona when they're on the Confessions of the Coach, basically saying, listen to Brad's terminology and the way in which he speaks that terminology. But again, I think Shona's in a space where, I wouldn't say she's oblivious, because I was going to say she was oblivious. She's not necessarily oblivious. She's in a space where she can see certain aspects of Brad's behaviours and personality that may be wrong for her, and he's not being the person that he's saying he's being quite abusive with it. But then there's the other bit where she's stuck in the mire because she's in love with this person. Basically, she's in love with this person, and she doesn't want to believe that he is doing these things to her. She doesn't want to believe that this is happening to her in that sense. And I get that. I get that, because it's hard to comprehend, because then you start to question yourself and your ability to see the good in people and to say what's a good relationship and what isn't a good relationship. And I think that's the juxtapose that Shona is in. She's literally smack bang in the middle, because I think she can see the shit that Brad's putting out there. She ain't daft. She's seriously not that daft. Then it's the start of intimacy week for some couples, and we see Charlene, one of the experts, go and see George and Peggy, because she wanted to talk to them about when they had the compatibility week, and basically Peggy had put sex like at the bottom of that list, basically, and she wanted to see what she could do and speak about with these two. So Peggy was saying that she's not really that inclined, and that, you know, in order to have sex to achieve anything or anything like that. So I think Peggy is one of these people where she could literally do without it if she could, to be fair. She sounds like one of those people that she could literally have it or don't have it. It's non-plus to her, because it's not important. So as soon as Charlene walks in, and they know it's intimacy week, and she's got her little box, they knew straight off the bat, and she was like, oh God, sure, she's going to be off the charts and excited, which he was. He was like a bull in a china shop with George at the end of the day. So basically, she was saying that, you know, her and George are quite tactile, because she's quite tactile with him, but that's her limit in regards to that. And she says that George has respected her boundaries. But George is one of these dudes. He's horny. He's absolutely horny. He wants to get his groove on. He wants to take it to the next level. But at the moment, he's respecting Peggy's boundaries. But this is why I say with George, he is the type of guy, like I've seen him do in previous episodes, to literally say things just to keep the other person happy, because that's what he's doing with Peggy. I really think that's what he's doing with Peggy. So when they were like looking at the toys, and he was getting out the whips and this, that and the other, And then they got the cards out and they were reading off the cards, and the thing about rimming came up, and Peggy was like, what? And I'm just like, just expand your mind. Expand your mind a little bit, Peggy. And you may learn something. You may like something. Do you know what I mean? So she asked George, have you ever rimmed anyone before? And he was basically saying, well, he didn't really answer, but he did. He did say that yes, he has, and he's had people rim him. And he was like, what, wouldn't you like me to like do that to you as well? And she was like, well, no. And I'm like, these two are not compatible sexually. These two are not. I don't know how long they will last for. Because I would say Peggy's quite staid in the sexual department, whereas George is open to explore. So then it moves to Shona and Laura having a chat basically about the situation that has been happening between her and Brad. And I'm kind of glad. I may not warm to Laura, but I'm glad she's that friend for Shona in terms of talking to her and putting it out in black and white exactly what she thinks of Brad and exactly what she thinks of the current situation, and how it definitely went on the confessions of the couch, and how Brad was speaking to her, and that it definitely wasn't on, and that Shona literally needed to do something about it. So basically Shona was saying that she believes that she's losing herself and the person that she was, and that she's treading on eggshells with Brad. And I'm kind of like, if that's what you can see and describe for yourself, then you should know that this relationship is not for you, because no one should do that to you to the point where you are in a relationship and you're completely losing yourself. And then on top of that, you are walking on eggshells because you can't really talk about it with your partner, because all they will do is talk rings around you and make you feel like you're the one at fault. If you're seeing that far, then it's time to question, is this relationship the best for you? So basically Laura was telling her that the way that Brad was speaking to her was very alarming. And I'm like, it's true though. It is alarming. The way in which he was speaking to Shona was absolutely freaking disgusting. Like, absolutely disgusting. And Laura put it best where she said it's like he was giving you permission to do certain things, like he's some type of higher being. But this is where Brad has put himself. Brad thinks he's the be all and end all, and he's the king of all he surveys. And Brad has put himself on this high pedestal. And all I'm saying is, Brad, my mate, put yourself on that pedestal, but when it tilts and you fall off, you're going to fall from a motherfucking great height. That's all I'm going to say to you on that one. So basically, Shona still came on with the she's not a submissive person. And I'm like, it's not about submission, my love. It's not about submission. This is about you being vulnerable to the certain things that he is doing. At the end of the day, he knows how to play this game in order to make you feel the way that you're feeling right now. It's not about being submissive. It's not about being dominant. It's literally trying to control a space or a person to literally get them to do what they want them to do. And it's nothing to do with submission in the slightest, because if you're submitting to someone, you are agreeing to that submission. In this point, Shona is not agreeing to submit to Brad in any way, shape or form, but Brad is putting the feelings out that she needs to be a certain way when she's with him and addressing him. That's how it's coming across. So then you have Peggy come over, and I'm like, okay, the girls are getting together, because Peggy has tried to speak to Shona before about the issues with Brad when they were all at the dinner party. And Peggy did have that chat with Shona, and I don't think Shona was taking anything on board, especially when she was talking about, the girls need to get together. And then the next minute, Shona's left the girl group and gone and sat on Brad's lap. So she did try and have those conversations before. And basically Peggy was coming out the fact that she actually isolated herself from everybody, which is not good. When you are in a relationship, especially in this experiment, and you begin to isolate yourself from the other couples, the only person you can rely on is the person sat next to you who may not be treating you very well. It breeds freaking toxicity. It breeds contempt. It breeds all kinds of shit at the end of the day. And this is why you needed the other girls around you to be able to speak to, who'll be able to speak life into you and be able to get you to see that, you know what, things are not right. Things are not right here and you need to see this. But this is where the isolation comes in, because a person who is abusive, who will tend to isolate you from everybody else, doesn't want everybody else to see exactly what it is that you're doing, because the person that they're trying to isolate can't really see it. And that's what was happening with Shona. So Peggy as well said that she's losing herself. And she basically said to Shona that she prefers Shona when she's not with Brad, because Shona's more lively, she's more outgoing and everything like that. Whereas where she's with Brad, she doesn't really integrate with the girls when she's with Brad. She's literally constantly by Brad's side all the time, and that should tell you something as well. So basically, Peggy was saying that she'd had enough and she really wanted to speak to Shona for the longest about this, so she's glad that they've all done it this way. But I think they could kind of tell that Shona was getting a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit set upon. So Peggy decided that, you know, she's going to bag the other couples. She's going to bag the other couples. Like, I think it was definitely, she bagged Terence and Portia. And which are the other, I can't remember the other couple she bagged. But she definitely bagged Terence and Portia. And I was just kind of like, why, my love. Yeah, Ella and Nathaniel she bagged as well. Ella and Nathaniel, because basically what she said about Ella and Nathaniel was, if you're going to have a friendship, then why are you on the show? You shouldn't really be here, to be fair, if your relationship is all about a friendship. I thought that was wholly inaccurate and unfair in terms of what Ella and Nathaniel are experiencing and going through, or trying to build, or trying to fix with themselves in their marriage. All I would say to Peggy is, think about your own fucking issues at the end of the day. Think about your own issues with George at the end of the day. Because you can't even have sex with this man. You can't even have sex with your man. So why the fuck are you in somebody else's business? Like, seriously, why are you in somebody else's business? Sort out your own shit before you jump into others. That's all I'm going to say. Because all I'm going to say from here on out is that shit will come back to bite Peggy in her ass. And all I'm going to say is that when it does, serves her bloody right. It slips back to the honeymoon couples, and we get hit Bianca and JJ, and things are still not going well for them at all. So she's decided to put them on a little cooking excursion while they're on holiday. So they're cooking together. She's trying to create a bond with him, trying to create something with him. And basically he was saying that sexual attraction was a concern, and basically he wants to learn why he was matched with her. And I'm just like, right, you told the experts what it is that you were looking for in a woman, like the inner depths of a woman, like the loyal person, the caring person, the person you can love, That's what you told the experts that you wanted. So wouldn't it stand to reason that that's why the experts have matched you and Bianca together? Wouldn't it really stand to reason that's why the experts have matched JJ and Bianca together? Answers? Yes, no? Wouldn't it? Like, really? And then you want to say that you want to understand why the experts have matched you together. There's no hope. There's no hope for JJ at this moment in time. There really is no hope for JJ, and I do feel absolutely sorry for Bianca, because she's a nice girl. Like, she really is a nice girl, and if he gave her a chance, he'd realise how much of a nice girl she really is at the end of the day. So Bianca's talking about how different their worlds are, and she wants to be in his world. I'm like, he ain't even thinking that far ahead, my love. But he's sitting there agreeing with her at first, saying, that it's good with me. And I'm like, JJ, don't do that, because you say you don't want to lead her on, but you are. You're totally leading her on, because you're not setting to rights her image of her marriage with you. You're not setting that to rights. Yes, you don't want to go around and say, well, you know, I'm not really attracted to you in that sense, because what does that mean in terms of what are you not attracted to? Because you can't then turn around and say, well, I'm not attracted to your outward appearance, because that would be a mug move. It would be fucking disgusting too. But all I'm going to say is he needs to find a way in which to sit down and say to her exactly how he's feeling, but appropriately do that with her. So then we move to Erica and Jordan, and they're starting to give them each other massages, and they're loving it. They do have that chemistry down pat at the end of the day, but they more so want the emotional connection with each other as well. So they're starting to learn each other. So they're literally going on a good path with each other. So then we go to Bianca and JJ. So they're literally having a chat, and again she's singing his praises, and he's literally so lackluster with it. And I'm like, my guy, she's not stupid. She's going to pick up on the fact that you're not actually engaging with her. So have the discussion with her, would you please, rather than waiting and making it seem as though you're both on the same page when actually you are not at the end of the day. So she then starts talking about bedroom talk, like what she likes, what she don't like, asking him, and you could see that JJ is very uncomfortable. And this is where I keep on saying there's going to be a fallout between them. There really is going to be a fallout between them. But I am kind of shocked as well that Bianca's really not reading the room and not picking up on this man's body language, because this man's face, JJ's face, is saying a lot. Like saying a lot. What his mouth ain't saying to you, his face is telling you. And this is what shocks me. Are you not looking at his face, my love, when you're saying the things that you're saying? Because from when I'm not catching no hand holding, no hugs, no kisses, no especially since the wedding, best believe I'm going to be looking at your face when I ask you certain things. Or I'm just going to ask you point blank in regards to that. Are you sexually attracted to me? Are you attracted to me? What is it about me that doesn't attract you? All those kinds of questions. But I think sometimes because they're in the realm of getting to know you, and it's a case of, oh my God, I've just got married to this stranger, I don't know what else to do, sort of thing. I don't know if it's that they don't broach the subject straight away. I think, was it Bianca? Yeah, I think basically Bianca was asking him the question, like, is he slow in being tactile? And he basically said yes. And I thought, you liar, because if it was the right one, if it was the person in the right package for you, you will not be slow in being tactile. And I will call out that bullshit when I get to the other episodes, because we will then see a different side to JJ in how motherfucking flirty and tactile he can be when he's ready, when it's with the right one, when it's with someone that he kind of fancies and has the look that he likes, the aesthetic that he likes. My man can be tactile and ready like that. So no, that was a bullshit answer. That was an absolute bullshit answer. So then we move back to the flats, and we're seeing Shona. So basically Shona's had the talk with the girls. She's feeling confident and she's ready to have that chat with Brad. Basically, she feels that she loves him but needs to voice things with him. So I was like, okay, I hope that's the speed of where you go when you do go and talk to him. So the first thing she starts off with is, I hate that fact that people are perceiving you and I to be controlling. And I'm like, no. At that point I was like, no, Shona, why did you start off with that? Why did you start off with that? Because at the end of the day, you had the chat with the girls and you were starting to see exactly how you felt within these confines of this relationship. That's what you needed to talk about. It weren't about outside influences or anybody else at that point. So I don't understand why she brought that up. So then Brad pipes up with, oh, the domination thing. And she was like, yeah, and I don't like that. Talking about the other people having these views about their relationship, basically. So she's basically saying that she's going to be honest and frank with Brad, as she sees it too. And I'm like, we haven't, to be honest, you haven't, Shona. You haven't been honest and frank with this man. He's been allowed, he's been able to run, not allowed, because no, he's been able to run roughshod over you at the moment. And seriously, and this is what catches my goat, as I always say, I don't understand why the people in these shows make this kind of shit go on as long as it has done. Like, seriously, go on as long as it has done, till it's the point of breaking point where someone's going to break, or something serious and devastating is about to happen, and they don't put no blockades in to stop it in any way, shape or form. So basically, Shauna's saying that she adores him and loves him. So basically she's validating, making sure she validates her feelings for him in that respect while she's talking to him. And he is quick to say that the universe is her path. At the end of the day, that's what Shona was saying. That Brad is quick to say that the universe is her path, and that whatever the universe lays in front of her is either meant to be or not meant to be in regards to that. And basically saying that she will never compare to the universe. And basically he's just saying there's nothing more than the universe to me. So basically he's put the universe on this pedestal. So in actuality, what Brad is saying is, no person, no woman or anybody is going to come close to his relationship with the universe. I just can't with this man at this point. I just really can't with this man, because I'm like, he believes every word that is coming out of his mouth, and he expects Shona to believe every word that is coming out of his mouth and accept it. And there was just so many questions to be had with that, like really so many questions to be had with that. So she's basically turned around and told him that she feels unsafe in order to voice her opinions. And you know what this man says? He turned around and he says, if the universe shows him that this is not meant to be, then he will get up and leave. I'm like, So basically Brad is saying he don't give a shit either way. So he doesn't give a shit either way. He will leave his wife. It ain't got nothing to do with the universe. It ain't really got anything to do with the universe. If we're being quite frank and quite honest and open, ain't got nothing to do with the universe. What's it got to do with is literally, if he feels that his power from the other person is being taken away, yeah, or people have managed to talk that other person around to the point where they're actually seeing holes in you, then he won't give two shits about walking away. So it ain't got nothing to do with the universe at all. It's what suits him at that time. He can wrap it up in this gold ribbon and say, oh, the universe has told me to do this, but Brad is full of bollocks. That's what I think Brad is bogus, absolutely freaking bogus. So basically she turns around and she said, well, it kind of baffles her head, because she's like, what am I competing with? What am I really competing with? Why am I competing with the universe? Because that's a nonsensical idea, and it freaking is. It's nonsensical. It's absolutely nonsensical. But Brad don't see it that way. Brad does not see it that way. Basically he was quick to say that it wasn't working, right? And Shona was calling him out on his behaviours, basically, was calling him out on his behaviours. And I thought, good on you, Shona, you're actually calling him out on his behaviours. And he then turns around and says to Shona, but I didn't say that. You didn't hear me say that in the slightest, which kind of shut Shona down. Now, bearing in mind, he didn't even at least try and work around the comment where she said that she was unsafe in voicing things to him. He didn't even work around that comment at all. So basically, my thing is Brad, You don't have to actually say the things in order to say the things that you need to say. You imply it in the words that you use. That's what you do. So when you turn around and say to Shona, well, you didn't hear me directly say X, Y, and Z, do you? No, but you implied it in the words that you use. People are not that bloody stupid. We are not that bloody stupid. Like, seriously, we are not that stupid. We hear you. We know what you're saying. Okay? So then Shona was basically on the outs and saying that this is not the way that she wanted to live, and basically agreed in the terms of saying maybe that she is emotionally immature. And this is where I was like, yeah, this is where Brad has got to her, because she actually believed the fact that he's saying that she's emotionally immature, and she's not. All she's doing is voicing what she wants and what she don't want, but Brad is not actually validating her feelings. Brad does not validate her feelings in any way, shape or form. She validates his feelings all the bloody time. But from what I've watched throughout the episodes, he doesn't not once validate her feelings in any way, shape or form when she brings them up. He is quick to cut her down. He is very, very quick to cut her down, but wrap it up in a package that is palatable to the ear. But again, as I said, you have to read between the lines with this man. You have to literally read exactly what it is that he's meaning or implying to say when he says the words that he says. So basically, I think Shona got to the point where she wanted to detach herself from the situation completely, and this is what she told Brad. Now, when the cameras panned to Brad, all you had to do was look at Brad's face, because Brad has this look on him when he is literally thinking. Like, you can see the cogs whirring behind his eyes. And all I kept on thinking about is, now you said that, Shona, he ain't willing to take it. He ain't willing to let you go yet. He's calculating his next move. He is calculating his next move. And that is the mind of a manipulator in that sense. You could see it. The way he was looking at her and was like this. As she said that, he was calculating what his next move was going to be. So then all the other couples get to do stuff during intimacy week. I'll flip past Luke and Jay because they were getting on fine, and then go to Ella and Nathaniel. And with Ella and Nathaniel, Ella was excited about intimacy week. Nathaniel not so much, but Ella was excited about intimacy week. So what Nathaniel was trying to say is that he wants to be friends before he can build on anything else. But I'm like, are they not friends already? Are you not friends already? Because you already said that you see Ella as your best friend and Ella sees you as a best friend. When's it going to move? When and how is it going to move? So when they did their task, it was a task of like staring in each other's eyes. It was a task of aligning your bodies and hugging. And the way that they connected with each other, they connected really, really well. Like, connected really, really well, to the point when he turned around and told Ella to get on his lap, and Ella of course said clothes on or clothes off. I was like, just that's just Ella. That's just Ella. And he's like, just get on here. And that's a first for Nathaniel. It's an absolute first for Nathaniel. And you could tell when they did that hugging task that they were quite in tune with each other, to the point that they were rocking backwards and forwards like that. They were very in tune with each other. So I'm thinking and I'm hoping that it can work between them two, because I would really like to see it work between them two. And I just felt that they really needed that task. They really, really did. So then it moves on to Roz and Thomas, and they get the same task. And with Roz and Thomas, it's different. Like, they are really like getting into tune with each other and being jokey with each other, and you can see an actual difference with them since they did the little task that they did with Paul. And then right at the end of their task, it was like, Roz was like, so we're going to have rampant sex now. And Thomas was like, yeah, come on then. And she dropped on his back and they went. So I was like, okay. They had sex willingly this time and consensually, and that sense. She didn't use him like a big old vibrator like she did in the last episode. They literally went there together and did their thing together. And another thing with Thomas and Roz, I hope it does work out for them too, because they are a good couple. They are good. Look, they suit each other. Like, honestly suit each other. Oh, God. So then we go over to Bianca and JJ and the honeymooners, and all I'm gonna say is at this bit is Bianca don't stand a chance with JJ. Bianca really does not stand a chance with JJ. He's not going to let it happen, because he's letting his ideal of what a woman should look like for him overshadow anything good about Bianca. He's just not doing it. So I do feel bad. I really, really, really do. So then we get to Erica and Jordan, and again it's Erica's birthday, and Jordan just planned a whole gamut of stuff for her, which she appreciated and she loved. And I thought, well done, Jordan. Like, seriously, because some people may not think of that at all. And it's the fact that she said that she never had a birthday cake with candles on any of her birthdays, and he actually made sure that that was done for her, which is a really, 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 really nice gesture. So then you see Bianca and JJ having their dinner, and at last, Bianca directly calls JJ out on his behaviour. But then he turns around and invalidates what she's saying, because he turns around and he says she's overthinking things. And I thought, JJ, you taking the piss? Like, are you seriously taking the piss right here, my love? Since the wedding, for the whole of that honeymoon, you've been making Bianca feel other than. Do you know what I mean? She ain't even feeling like your motherfucking wife right now. You've been making her feel like other than. And then you have the audacity to say that she's overthinking things. No, lovely. She's not overthinking things at all. It's just you being an arsehole. That's what that is. It's you being an arsehole, because you can't pull up your big boy pants and literally tell her what's going on in your head. So whether she continues to keep trying with you or not at the end of the day. So basically she's telling him that she wants him to be more tactile with her and more hands-on. And it's her validation from him that, you know what, he wants this too. So she's not asking for full out sex and stuff like that, but there's nothing wrong with holding hands, there's nothing wrong with kissing, there's nothing wrong with hugs. But the problem is with that is, if you've got a person or you're with a person that literally has no attraction to you whatsoever, they are not going to do that. They're not going to hold your hand. They're not going to hug you. They're not going to kiss you. They're not going to do all of those things in order to validate that they want to be with you, or in terms of believing that you're attractive to them, because JJ doesn't believe that Bianca's attractive. That's the crux of it. JJ does, in his perfect world and what he bloody wants, Bianca don't meet up to that. So he's not going to put the effort in. But it's being felt by Bianca now. It's a waste of time you getting fucking frustrated because Bianca's rightfully so brought you up on your bullshit behaviour at the end of the day. Because your mouth is saying something different to your actions. So he needs to talk. And I bet you anything, is at the time that she decides to shut down on this man's ass, will be the time that he decides he wants to make a go of it with her. You got the final day of the honeymoon. Bianca and JJ spent their final night apart. Basically, I think it's that for them too. He basically said that the whole honeymoon was good. I'm like, how, from your perception, how was the honeymoon good? She would like to have at least a kiss in the morning, and he's saying that he still needs baby steps. And my thing is, you can't, at the end of the day, yes, JJ's acting like a dick, but you cannot force physicality on anybody. At the end of the day, it's either there or it isn't. If they want to kiss you, if they want to hold your hand, if they want to hug you, they would do it. You cannot force it upon them in that regard and hope to get something back. But at the end of the day, he didn't answer Bianca. He didn't answer her direct question, because he doesn't answer for her. Because if he actually turned around and says to her, no, I don't fancy you, and then if she was to say, well, why? He could not, in all honesty, say it's because I don't like the way you look. He can't say that, because he'll look like a prick on TV. Even though he already looks like a prick on TV. But yeah, even more so. This is where I'm going to leave it for this episode, but I will be back with the next episode. All I will say to you all is, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button, so when you know I am back on and doing videos. And I will speak to you all again soon. Peace out.